Good morning, and welcome to Creative Living Fellowship's online Sunday service. Please join us in our opening song, Use Me.
Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think God was the sun, God is the sun, but God's so much more than the earth or the stars or all of creation. God is creator, all in all, needing us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. All that I'm saying is, command my hands. What must they do? Command my life. It's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new, and God needs us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. And God needs us to shine its light. God needs us to shine its light. God needs us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Creative Living Fellowship. I'm the Reverend Dr. Sherry F. McCreary. It is my pleasure to be the senior minister here and to welcome you here this morning. Although we are a virtual community right now, we still are a community of love, of care, of connection. that opens hearts, expands consciousness, and transforms lives. And that is our deepest intention. And so we welcome you here this morning. We're really glad that you could join us. We know you had a lot of options, and we're glad that you chose to spend this morning with us. We have our Sunday service team here with us, who's always here, and they are Nicole Jordan and Deb Covington, our AV team, and our tech team, our Reverend Mary Jane Hyde and Fran Peck. And Reverend Mary Jane Hyde also led our pre-service meditation this morning. So thank you all for your service here today. We really appreciate it. As you know, we are an independent religious science church, and we welcome all paths that lead to truth. We have several principles and practices of the science of mind that guide us through our lives this time. And today, one of the practices is holding the high watch. And we have two practitioners who are holding high watch for us today, and they are Peter Waring and Jeannie Sovereigns. And what that means is that they're sitting in meditation and prayerful contemplation, just holding a space for the perfect unfolding of this time that we spend together here today. So thank you, Jeannie. Thank you, Peter. And so let's take a breath together. Our musical inspiration is favorite friend, Karie Hillery, who's back with us today. Karie's been a favorite friend for many years, and I'm really happy that she's here with us today. So she'll be with us in a little bit. But right now, Nicole's going to bring us the announcements. And following the announcements, there will be a brief gong wash. And after the gong wash, there'll be a few moments of silence, and then practitioner Rhonda Emmerich will bring us our reading and our evocation. But now here's Nicole.
Good morning, Creative Living Fellowship. It is my pleasure, as always, to be here to bring you today's announcements. And effective immediately, we have a new mailing address. And here it is. You can also find the address on our website and post it on our Facebook page and also in your weekly newsletter. Need motivation to meditate? Well, meditate with us in Facebook. Join us for midday meditation at noon, Monday through Thursday. We also hold a pre-service meditation at 9:30 in Zoom on Sundays. Stay connected and supported with your CLF family and join Reverend Sherry every Tuesday as she hosts a Community Care Connection Zoom meeting at 6:30 p.m. This week, Reverend Sherry will be leading us in life's purpose visioning. This is a powerful process that reveals more the more you do it. Envisioning is one of our spiritual practices that aligns you to the possibilities for your life greater than you can have ever imagined. Join us this Tuesday and open up, surrender, and catch God's vision for your life. We look forward to seeing you then. Reverend Mary Jane Hyde's 4-week book study started yesterday for Ernest Holmes' This Thing Called You. If you couldn't make it, no worries. You can still learn, discuss, and grow with your spiritual family by joining us this next Saturday, April 24th. This event is provided for a love offering. You can use the link in the comments to sign up for the book study, and then you'll be sent an email with the Zoom link information. Remember, you can text to give to make your contributions to CLF. Simply text the amount you'd like to give to 602-610-1868. And if it's your first time donating by text, you'll be sent a link that signs up your account. And then after that, it's as easy as texting the amount you would like to tithe to 602-610-1868. CLF is a tithing church, which means that we tithe off of your donations. And our 2021 first quarter tithes of $3,168 went to Circle the City, Healthcare for the Homeless. And speaking of tithing our quarterly tithes, we're always looking for more nonprofits to send our quarterly tithes to. So if you have a nonprofit you would like to nominate, please use the link found in the comments to submit your recommendations. Our Sunday prayer room is available to you after service today. Get your after service prayer with a practitioner by heading on over to Zoom using the link provided in the comments. And if you're currently in Zoom with us, just stay where you are. Participants are transferred into a breakout room for a private session with one of our licensed practitioners. The prayer room today will actually only be open until 11:15 due to our community update meeting. Community update meeting? That's right. Join us in Zoom at 11:30 a.m. to be brought up to speed on what happened with the 7th Street property and the next steps for Creative Living Fellowship. Also, we will not be having fellowship today, so join us in the meeting to connect with your CLF family. You can find the details for all of our events with their links on our website under events, under our Facebook events, posted in the comments of these videos, or in your weekly newsletter. That is it for today's announcements. It is now time to move on to our gong wash, followed by a moment of silence.
Good morning. Our reading this morning is from the 365 Science of Mind, a year of daily wisdom from Ernest Holmes. It is the April 3rd reading titled Renewal. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Matthew 11:30. If we make every day a day of praise and thanksgiving, a day in which we recognize the divine bounty and the eternal goodness, and if we live today as though God were the only presence and the only power there is, we would not have to worry about tomorrow. We are all human, and we all have made mistakes. The starting point for creating a better future for ourselves is to deliberately free our minds from the mistakes of yesterday and feel they need no longer be held against us. They need no longer be a liability. Too often, our minds are so burdened because of the mistakes we have made that we do not take time to forgive ourselves and others and to start over again. And so it is wise to occasionally review the past and try to find out just what we have been thinking and doing to create this burden in our minds. We cannot go back over the past and relive it. We cannot make adjustments in the past. We have to make them in the present. It is not going to do us any good to sit around and cry over the past and bemoan our fate, because in the very day in which we are living, we are creating our tomorrows, which will become monotonous repetitions of our yesterdays. And as we continue in this sacred space, we allow the gratitude, the thanksgiving, the love in our hearts to expand and to engulf all those around us as we take this time to recognize the one power, the one presence, the one that is expressing itself in, through, and as all of creation. The one that is expressing itself as me right now is expressing itself in, through, and as each individual on this planet. Individually and collectively, we are one. We recognize this power that is expressing itself in everyday life, in every situation of life, in every circumstance of life, in every relationship, in everything that we do. We know that the one, God, is expressing itself at that time, at that moment, here and now. And I, Rhonda, speak my word into the law. I speak my word with authority, knowing, claiming, and accepting that only good is present here and now. I bless our service. I bless our congregation, each and every congregant, those that are hearing my voice now and that will hear my voice later. I send blessings of love, of light, of peace, and of harmony. And I send an extra special blessing this morning to our Reverend Dr. Sherry as she brings our message today, knowing that she is surrounded by love, knowing that is her truth, just as it is the truth for all seekers and teachers of the truth, knowing we are one. I send blessings across our planet to each and every individual on this planet, those that are feeling scared or ill or in despair, knowing that their only truth is wholeness and that we are all one in that wholeness, that love is our only truth, that peace is our only truth. I send blessings across our planet, in our city, our state, our country, in this world. Send blessings of love out, blessing the leaders, knowing that truth always prevails, peace always prevails, harmony always prevails. And for that, I am grateful. I am grateful for this word as it is manifest here and now, as I release it into the law, releasing it into a law that always says yes. I release, I let it go. And so it is. And I would like to welcome our special musical inspiration this morning, Karie, Hillery.
Good morning and welcome to Creative Living Fellowship. We are so glad you could join us this morning. So I wrote this one for you, Rev Sherry. I trust it'll support your talk. Rise up, rise up, still we rise, rise up, rise up, is it time to take a stand, celebrating diversity round the world, across the land. Rise up, rise up. Still we rise. Rise up, rise up. Still we rise. Today's the day to recognize our common goal, building bridges instead of walls, healing hearts, connecting souls. Rise up, rise up. Still we rise. Rise up, rise up. Still we rise. Right here, right now. Hear the universal call. Open hearts and open minds, making room for one and all. Rise up, rise up. Still we rise. Rise up, rise up. Still we rise. Still we rise.
Thank you so much, Karie, Hillery, and thank you for that beautiful song and for honoring me by writing that, especially for me. We really appreciate it. Let's take a breath together. And still we rise. And still we rise. That's our theme for this month of April, this month of the resurrection. The resurrection meaning rising, renewal, and still we rise. No matter what's going on, no matter where it's going on, we still rise. Ernest Holmes says that evolution is proof of an irresistible urge that pushes everything onward and upward. Evolution is proof of an irresistible urge that pushes everything onward and upward. And we are in that process of evolution. We are evolving. We are constantly evolving. So we are constantly rising because there's that irresistible urge within each of us that is pushing us on, pushing us upward. And what we want to do is to stay in the present moment so that we can consciously rise, and we can rise with a degree of consciousness, so an awareness, so that we are rising in the direction and moving in the direction that we intend, moving in the direction that is for our highest and our best. And one thing that we have to recognize about rising is that we all rise together or we all fall together. We all rise together or we don't. We all do it together. So when we look around at our country, at our world, at our own individual lives, and there appears to be separation, we know that we have to move out of that place of separation and move back into that place of oneness, move back into that place of unity. And we do that by just allowing all the stuff to fall away. And what we come to realize right now also is that we're at choice point. We're at choice point. We're at choice point in our lives right now. We're at choice point in our world right now. We're at choice point in each and every moment. But we're so much more aware of it right now with all the things that seem to be going on and what seems to be sometimes a world gone mad. But we're at choice point. That means that we have an opportunity to make a choice right now to do something different. We have an opportunity to make a choice right now to live our lives differently. We have an opportunity to make a choice right now to do all that we can to make our world better and consequently the entire world better. By focusing on our individual lives and our individual ways of walking through the world, it affects everything. It affects everyone. And so just being in this place of knowing that we are at choice point right now brings me to the topic for today, right here, right now. Right here, right now. Right here, right now. This is the only time we have is now, right now. The only place is right here. Wherever we are here. Whenever we are there, it's now, wherever it is. And so just learning to just bring our focus, bring our attention back to the right here and the right now. And the first way we do that, as always, as I say always, is take a breath. Just taking a breath, remembering to breathe in each and every moment. Remember to just take that breath. And when we take that breath, it brings us back to the right here. It brings us back to the right now. And we spend so much time going through the past, things we didn't do, things we could have done, things we should have done, the coulda, woulda, shouldas that we get involved in. We get caught up in that. And that takes us out of the right here, right now. And then we start thinking about, oh, wow, I can't wait until this pandemic is over. Oh, I can't wait until the next thing happens. Oh, I can't wait until whatever it is. Putting things off that way takes us out of the right here, right now. Ernest Holmes says we're always in this spontaneous or this instantaneous here, and this ever-present now. This instantaneous here and this ever-present now is where we always are. It's where we always are, in the right here and in the right now. And so I'm inviting you to allow yourself to be fully present wherever you are, whatever is going on in your life, whatever is happening in the world, whatever, just bringing ourselves and bringing our focus right back to the right here and the right now. We have a choice, as I said, we're all at choice point, but Louise Hay says that the point of power is in the present moment. The point of power is in the present moment. The only time we can exercise any choice is in the present moment. And so what we want to do is to make sure that we are remaining in that place of right here and in that place of right now, and knowing that when we are right here and right now, this is where our power is. This is where we have the opportunity to make a change. This is where we have an opportunity to release and let go. This is where we have an opportunity to rise up. We can only rise from where we are right now. We can only rise from right here. We can only rise right now. We can't rise from back in the past. We can't rise from the future. We can only rise from the right here and the right now. And so this is what I'm inviting us to really, really think about today, to really, really, really consider today, being in the moment, being in the right here, being in the right now. And I know I say this over and over in so many different ways. And the message is always the same, right here, right now, because now is the only time we have. Now is the only time we have. Now is the only time we have. Here is the only place we can be. Here is the only place we can be. So the question for us is, how can we make the very most of right here? How can we make the very most of right now? And this is for us in our individual lives, and this is for us in our community lives, as a community, as a CLF community. How can we be the very best that we can be? How can we experience the allness and the fullness of life? How can we experience the allness and the fullness of God right here? As an individual, how can we experience the allness and the fullness of God as Creative Living Fellowship right here and right now? What can we do right now? Not looking at what we didn't do in the past or what we are going to do in the future, but what can we do today to experience that allness? What can we do today to experience that fullness? What can we do today to have our wholeness be revealed easily and effortlessly and fully and completely as God wants to reveal itself in and through and as each of us individually, and in and through and as Creative Living Fellowship as a community? What can we do right now? What can we do right now? How can I live more fully right now? And before I get further into this, I want to remind us that we're into the first quarter of the year, and each of us were going to choose a quality that we were going to be working on this year, that we were going to allow to reveal itself in and through and as each one of us this year. So what is that quality for you? And have you been working with it? Has it been working with you? And are we allowing ourselves to rise? Because that quality, the seeking expression, will help us to rise up, to become more, to become all that we are created to be. When that quality is seeking to reveal itself and we allow it to have full sway, then when we do that, then we are in the here and now, and we can only do that in the here and now. We're in the here and now, and we are rising up. We are rising up into all that we were created to be. So what is that quality that you were working on? Are you still working with it? Did you forget about it? If so, don't worry about it. Just pick it up again. Pick it up right now. Don't worry about the fact that you forgot it in the past. I know at the beginning of the year, at the end of last year and coming into this year, I was suggesting and encouraging all of us to make a 100% commitment to peace, to make a 100% commitment to peace. How many of us have continued to do that? How many of us are still living in that 100% commitment to peace? Peace in our own lives, just because peace in our own lives creates peace in the world. So how many of us are working with that or dealing with that? And if you're not, no problem. Just start right here, right now, because this is the only time we have. This is where our point of power is, right here, right now. Start to work with whatever that quality is that you have chosen, whatever that word, some people call it a word. I call it a quality because it's a spiritual quality that's seeking expression in and through and as each one of us. So how many of us are really still working with that and allowing it to work with us, because it's still there, whatever it is, and it's seeking expression. And to the degree that we are not allowing it to express, then what appears to be the opposite of it will come up in our lives. So if peace is the quality, then anything that's unlike peace will come up when we are not practicing peace. Anything that's unlike peace will come up. Same thing with love. Anything unlike love will come up. And so what we want to do is to stay in the here and stay in the now, so that we can be aware of how we are moving in and through our lives, how we are moving and allowing that quality, allowing that which seeks expression to express itself in and through and as our lives. For me, the quality was order. No, it wasn't was order. It is order. For me, the quality is order. And I find myself questioning, how did things get to be this way? How did things get, how did I seem to have some disorder or things that are out of order in my life? How did things get to this point? And you know what, we can review things in our lives that review the past. This is what I'm trying to say. Review the past so that we can have information about where we are now, how we got to where we are now. Not to judge, not to blame, not to shame, not any of that. It's just to have some information. How did I get to this point? How did I have this disorder? Why do I have all these stacks of paper? Why do I have all these piles of things around me? Well, when I review, I recognize that what I did was to schedule myself in many, many cases. Having meeting after meeting after meeting and thing after thing after thing that I'm doing. I've spent most of my working life being a multitasker. And so I'm always doing all kinds of different things. And I go from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. And I schedule things so closely sometimes that I don't have the time to stop after one thing and put those things in order, put them in their proper place, and then move to the next thing. So reviewing that and recognizing that I have all these papers stacked up here because I didn't have the time to sort through them and put them away, gave me the opportunity to look at, okay, so how do I want to move forward so that order can express itself fully and completely in my life? Not to blame myself for not having done that in the past, not to judge myself or have shame around not having done that in the past, but it's for informational purposes to say, oh, how can I allow order to reveal itself in my life now? How can I allow order to reveal itself as I move forward? maybe scheduling things a little bit differently that gives me some time between one meeting or one group or one activity or whatever the case may be, so that I can put those things in their proper place and then move to the next thing. And then when that's taken care of, and then move to the next thing. That is what order looks like. And that's what order looks like for me. So whatever your quality may be, whatever the quality that's seeking expression in and through and as your life, then allow yourself to do a review for informational purposes, just so you'll know, oh, this is how I can move forward more easily in peace. This is how I can move forward more easily in love. This is how I can move forward more easily in abundance and prosperity, whatever your quality may be. And when we do that, then we are moving into that place of blaming and shaming and judging. And so what I invite you to do is, whatever you haven't done in the past, the times that you haven't lived in the moment, the times you haven't been in the here and now, just forgive yourself for that. Forgive yourself for any mistakes you have made. Forgive others for any mistakes they have made. Just move into that place of forgiveness. Move into that place of forgiveness and releasing and letting go, and realize, I made a mistake. Now that I recognize it, I can move forward. I can do something different. I made a mistake. I forgive myself for that. This gives me the information I need to move forward differently, to move forward with an open heart, to move forward in a way that I've not been able to move forward before, because I allowed my judgment or my blame or whatever the case may be, or whatever the mistake may have been, to hold me back, to hold me in a place in the past. And when we are judging, when we are blaming, when we are shaming, that's past. That's about past stuff. That's about past stuff. And we can't move forward. We can't rise up with old consciousness. We have to let the old consciousness go. And when we let the old consciousness and the old way of being go, then we are free to rise. We are free to move forward. We are free to keep going, to keep evolving, if you will. And we can do that. Forgiveness helps us to do that. So just take a breath. And I'm inviting you to take a breath right now, but take a breath. Take a breath and just allow yourself to just forgive yourself for mistakes. Forgive yourself for things you didn't do. Forgive yourself for things times you haven't been fully present. Forgive yourself for times you haven't remembered whatever the quality was that you were going to express this year, or give full expression to this year. Forgive yourself for all that stuff, and start right here and right now. Right here and right now. Right here and right now. So right here and right now, I'm inviting you to take a breath. Because you know what? Every time we take that breath, it brings us right back to the right here and the right now. That's one way to remind ourselves to come back to center, to come back to the right here, come back to the present moment, right here and right now, by just taking that breath, continuing to take that breath. And it's so important. In addition to keeping us alive, taking a breath brings us back to center. Taking a breath brings us back to connecting us with the all that is, connecting us with the all that is. And so in addition to forgiving yourself for mistakes you've made in the past, I'd like to invite you to also live in the awareness that we are in the midst of God's vision right now. We are in the midst of living God's vision right now, in our individual lives and in our community lives as a community of Creative Living Fellowship. We're in the midst of God's vision right now. God's vision is always unfolding. God's vision is always right where we are. God's vision is not something that when we go into visioning, we don't go into visioning and I close my eyes because that's what we do in visioning. But when we go into visioning, we don't go into visioning about something that's going to happen out into the future. We want that vision that is dynamic and that is ever evolving to be revealed in and through us right here and right now. So as a vision is being revealed, it is constant. We are constantly living it. We are constantly living it, constantly living it. And when you think about the visioning questions, when you think about the vision in question, what must I become? What must I become? Whatever it is we must become, it's in the right here and right now. Not what must I become in the future, what must I become right now? What must I become right now? What must I become right now? And in my becoming, what must I change? How must I grow? How must I change right now? How must I grow right now? in this situation, in this moment, in this present time, right here and right now. This is how we recognize that we're living our lives, and we're aware of the fact that we're in the midst of God's vision right here and right now. What must I release? What must I release? What must I release? That brings me back to my quality of order. What must I release? Clutter. I get that so often. I don't care what I'm visioning for. I don't care whether it's for the board or for the practitioners or for for Creative Living Fellowship or for my own personal life. The answer is the same. What must I release? Clutter. And that's because order is trying to reveal itself. And it doesn't change because I go from one meeting or one group or one intention in the visioning to another. That doesn't change. God's vision is the same. We're the ones that put the parameters around it what's the vision for the community? What's the vision for the practitioner core? What's the vision for the board of trustees? Whatever the case, what's the vision for my individual life? It's all one life. It's all one life. It's all one life. And we're the ones that put the little boxes around it. Because, visioning is about personal transformation. And if there's a transformation that is happening and that is seeking to express through me, it's going to seek to express whether I'm in the board or whether I'm with the practitioners or whether I'm in my individual life, in the connection meeting or wherever it is I am. God is seeking to express. So whatever I need to release for the full expression, it's going to show up everywhere. So I am always in the midst of God's vision. We are always in the midst of God's vision unfolding. This is how we rise up by releasing those things that are revealed as needing to be released, so that God's vision can be fully expressed. By embracing those things that we need to embrace, that will bring us into full alignment with God's vision. But that has to happen in the here and now. The only time we can release is right now. The only time we can embrace is right now. The only time we can change is right now. The only time that we can grow is right now, right here, right where we are. And so I invite you to constantly remember that we are always in the midst of God's vision unfolding. We are always in the midst of God's vision for our lives or for whatever it is unfolding. We are always living the vision. We're always living the vision. So to make sure that vision is fully expressing in and through and as us, as our lives, then let's be aware of the fact that we're always living God's vision. We're always living God's vision. We're always in the midst of God's vision. Whether we are sitting in meditation or whether we are just going about our daily lives, we are always in the midst of God's vision. And so it requires us to be in the here and now to see what we're thinking. What am I thinking? How can I be supported? How can I be supportive in this situation? How can I support myself? And how can I be supportive of others? How can I be of service? How can I express love? All of these things are in the here and now, and we can only come to an awareness of these things and get answers to these questions in the here and in the now. And so then finally, I'd like to invite you to release anything or anyone that would block or stand in the way of your wholeness expressing itself. And our wholeness is God's vision revealing itself. As God's vision, because God's vision is always about wholeness. And so as God's vision is revealing itself and our wholeness is God's vision for us, then releasing and being willing to release anything, or anyone, that's a scary one, anyone that would block God's vision, that would block our wholeness. We are in truth whole. We are in truth perfect. We are in truth complete. And what we want to do is to reveal that wholeness and reveal that perfection and reveal that completeness in and through and as our lives always. And we can only do that as we continue to move forward from this place of the here, and from this time of the now. And so being in that place of here and now always is where we want to be. Always in that place of the here and this time of the now, because we are always living in this eternal moment of now. I don't care whether tomorrow we're still in this moment of now. And so letting go of all the stuff, as I said before, from the past and anything from the future, and being in the now, and making sure that what we do today, knowing that what we are doing right now we're creating our tomorrow. Right now, we are creating our tomorrow. And now, because now is the only time we can change, we want to make sure that tomorrow is not a repetition of yesterday. We want to make sure that tomorrow, as the reading said, tomorrow is not a repetition of yesterday. And we can only do that by being in this moment and creating the lives that we want to live in this moment, because in this moment is creative in and of itself. And so this is how we rise. This is how we rise. This is how we rise, and we keep rising. We keep rising. This morning, I turned on the television to look at CBS this morning, Sunday morning, and just to hear what Jane Pauley had to say at the very beginning. And she said, the flowers are blooming and hope is rising. Hope is rising. And I thought, what a beautiful expression, hope is rising. And you know what? I'd like to take it further than that and say expectancy is rising, because I equate hope and expectancy, but expectancy is a little bit higher. Hope is kind of wishing for something sometimes, but expectancy is that openness that we're expecting good, expectancy of good. This is what Ernest Holmes talks about a lot, expectancy. We want to live in that expectancy of good and let expectancy be on the rise in our lives. Expectancy of good, expectancy of growth, expectancy of expansion, expectancy of transformation, expectancy of the allness and the fullness. This is how we want to live our lives. And we can only do that by being in this moment of the here and the now, being in this moment of the here and the now. And so I invite you to take a breath, and then take another breath, and just allow yourself to be fully present right here and right now in this moment, and then feel the rising up. Feel the renewal that happens with each breath that we take. Feel the resurrection that is happening within each of us, that rising up, that renewal, that restoration that is happening within each of us right here and right now. Living in that place of expectancy, in the right here and the right now, which makes us walk through life with joy. Joy, the emotion excited by the expectancy of good. That's what Ernest Holmes says. Joy is the emotion excited by the expectancy of good. And we can only live in that moment of expectancy right now. We can only live in that moment of expectancy right here. So I invite you to join me in the right here and the right now as we take a breath and move into prayer. So just moving into that place right here and right now, of knowing right here and right now that God is all there is. The only thing we ever need to know is that God is all there is. The only life, the only power, the only presence, the only mind, the only breath is God. The allness and the fullness of God is right here, right now, right where I am. It is right here, right now, right where we all are, for it is the source of our being. This allness, this fullness, this onlyness that is God is my life, and it is the life of each of us here this day. And so I speak the word for each of us this day. Just knowing that right here, right now, all things are made new as we continue to return unto that one power, that one presence that is our lives, and allow it to have full sway in our lives, allowing it to move in and through and as our lives. And as it does so, all things are made new, all things are healed. And so I speak a word of wholeness for all of us this day, a word of wholeness, knowing that there's wholeness revealing itself in our body temples, and every organ, cell, tissue, function of our bodies is experiencing that wholeness that is God. And where there is discomfort or dis-ease, that power and that presence of God is in the midst, healing all things that is unlike itself. And where there's appearance of lack or limitation, I know that abundance and prosperity, that all needs are met in each and every moment of each and every day, because that allness and that fullness of God is right in the midst, right here and right now. It's where there's grief and where there's loss. I know that great comforter that is God is right in the midst, healing every broken heart, comforting, lifting up, embracing, just being itself love. That there's love everywhere. That healing power of God's love is everywhere present, in every life, in every circumstance, in every situation. That all things are made new by this healing power that is everywhere present. This word goes out to anyone needing a prayer this day. This word goes out to our government officials and our country, our world. Just knowing that the power and the presence of God is in the midst of every situation and circumstance, even though the appearance may be different, the truth is that God is in the midst, that healing is happening, that decisions are being made that are guided from on high, that are for the highest good of all concerned, that we move into this place of releasing and letting go of any sense of separation and moving into a place of unity and oneness and wholeness, the wholeness that is God. And so as I open the circle of prayer, I pause momentarily so that you may speak the names of anyone you'd like held in prayer. You may speak their names silently or loud, and you may speak them now. So for all those whose names were spoken here this day, I know that God is in the midst of everything. God is blessing and keeping each and every one whose names were spoken here this day, just as God blesses and keeps each of us. And so I simply say thank you, Father, Mother God, as prayer goes out everywhere to anyone on this planet needing a prayer this day, goes out to this entire planet, knowing that God is. That's all we ever need to know, that God is. And this isness is always right where we are, right here and right now. And so I simply say, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. I simply allow it to be now. And so it is. And so let us now move into our offering time. This is a time that we give of our tithes and offerings here at Creative Living Fellowship. We invite you to join us in this sacred practice of tithing, because CLF is a tithing community. We invite you to participate in this sacred practice with us by tithing and donating right here at CLF. You can do that by clicking the links on the comment section, or going to our website, clicking the donate button, or on YouTube, our Facebook, however you do, and you can also text to give. But however you give, we certainly appreciate your continued support, your financial support of Creative Living Fellowship. So now let us just say our offering blessing together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God. And so it is. And now here's Karie Hillery again with our offering song.
Here right now, time for her voice to be heard. strength of love is for. We are rising, awakening the world. Still, we're rising, creating a new world. Side by side, standing strong, our vision's clear. Using love's power, we will no longer live in fear. We are rising, awakening the world. Still, we're rising, creating a new world. We are rising, awakening the world. Still, we're rising, creating a new world. Strong together, brightly we shine. No resistance, it is finally time. We are light, illuminating a new way. Trust and wisdom, we are birthing a new day. We are rising, awakening the world. We are rising, creating a new world. We are rising, awakening the world. Still, we're rising, creating a new world.
Thank you so much, Karie, Hillery. It was so great having you here with us again today. And, I'd also like to thank Reverend Catherine McDowell for filling in for me last Sunday. It was really great having her here, our favorite friend, Reverend Catherine McDowell. Thank you so very much. And of course, our thanks to Jeannie Sarvins, who was our host last week. Thank you both very, very much. So let's take a breath. I just have a couple of closing announcements. And one is that the community meeting happens after service today at 11:30. And I trust that you will all join us for the community meeting. It's an informational meeting, not a business meeting. So we invite you to join us just for information and as we do an update on moving forward. And then there will be no fellowship today with Jeannie Sarvins because she will be in the community meeting. The prayer room, the Zoom prayer room will be open immediately after service. So if you'd like prayer with a practitioner, don't walk away with a heavy heart. Just come into the Zoom room. You can pray in person with practitioners in the Zoom room immediately after service. Or you can email a practitioner with the practitioner core with a prayer request. That's at prayer@creativelivingfellowship.com. Send your prayer request and the practitioners pray over your prayer request for 30 days. And you can also call a practitioner from our on-call practitioner list that's in the comments. And also you can find that list and contact information on our website. So there's no reason to walk around with a heavy heart, as I said. Practitioners are available to pray with you and they are just waiting for your call or your stopping into Zoom. Tuesday evening, the connection meeting happens. I invite you to join us for the visioning, life's purpose visioning that's happening this week. And this is one of the ways that we stay connected on Tuesday evening. So I invite you, if you've never joined us on a connection meeting, this would be a great time to start because we are a full virtual community now that we have been for the last year, but fully now without a property that we think we're going back to. So I invite you to join us on Tuesday evening, 6:30 to 7:45 for our connection meeting. I also invite you to continue to use the treatment for supply. That's our community prayer. It works and we must work it by praying it every day, twice a day if you want. But the treatment for supply really, really covers everything and it really does work for all of us. So I invite you to continue to use that. Most of all, I invite you to continue to connect with each other. That is so important, that we stay connected, even though we don't see each other except on Zoom. And you get to see people on Zoom, and I feel like some people I share a house with, because I see some of them 3 or 4 times a week. So make sure you stay connected with each other. You can have a Zoom chat, a Zoom lunch with somebody, or you can call them, or you can email them, or you can send a text, or you can do all of the above. And just stay connected. That's the important thing. Saying, I love you, I miss you, I can't wait to see you again. That's what I say to you. I love you, I miss you, I can't wait to see you again. I got to see some of you during the time that we were closing out the property, and it was wonderful. And I look forward to seeing you again real soon. So why don't we now just move into our closing song, our release and let go.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit